In prison, did you have a lot of friends? Did you have a tight circle?
I mean, in prison, you got a lot of snakes around you, man. There was a couple good individuals. One was
What do you mean by car? What is car?
It's a group of individuals from your state. So you either got gangs or you got states, you know. And the feds, you grouped up by states. So you got Florida, you got D.C., you got New York, you got figure out the three main things that you have to get done. At least three wins. You know, eat a healthy breakfast, go to the gym, and one other thing that you think is gonna be.
If you had to if I deleted all your social media, all your stuff's gone, and you had to post one piece of content for 60 seconds that gives all of your value, that gives as much value as possible, like one piece of advice, and that's your one piece of content that people see you from, right? That your hardest piece of content. What would you say? What is up, guys? Welcome to the Bassani Pod. Today I have a good friend of mine, a special guest, Dominique Enrique, also known as Tattoo Fitness. He's a huge fitness trainer in the space, but he does something a little bit different from a lot of fitness trainers. I'm going to get into it. Dom, I want you to introduce yourself for everybody here that doesn't know your story.
What's up, everybody? Listen, my name's Dominic, Tattoo Fitness, man. I was released from federal prison about 17 months ago. I became the #1 coach in the world at UFC. Now I'm the #1 coach in Miami. And I'm also mentoring other coaches and teaching them how to make money with the same strategies that I used to make $300,000 my first 16 months out of prison.
Awesome, man. So I got a lot of questions for you.
What's
okay?
up?
So I want to just jump in first to how you got in trouble, okay? Because I think in life, everybody gets in trouble, right? And I think there's a spectrum to it. And I think sometimes you can get into a lot of trouble like yourself, right? And then sometimes you could get a speeding ticket, get a traffic ticket. So if you could tell me a little bit how it kind of happened, like not even like what happened, but where your mindset was going in the beginning.
Yo, my mind was fucked up. I've been in trouble since I've been 11 years old, in and out of juvenile detention programs, bro, crime after crime. Wanted to be successful, but just doing it the wrong way. So I was like, I was looking up to shit that I would see in the streets, Scarface, thinking, the world would be mine if I was able to move these drugs or commit these robberies and be successful like that, not realizing that only ends in two ways, either death or prison. And shit, I ended up in prison twice, one time for 7 years and one time for 10 and a half years, And the first incident that brought me to prison was ended up being a carjacking. I bonded out. And then I committed another robbery, which was an armed robbery. I got 7 years in Miami, in Dade County, 7 years in Broward County. They ran them concurrent. So I did those first 7 years in state prison. And, man, I didn't last on the street too much longer after that. I got out for 5 months and went right back for 10 and a half years. I walked right into a federal indictment, bro. Like, I used to be a Latin king, man, and the homies I was kicking it with, one of the guys I thought I was close with, my first 10 days out of prison, he told me he had a robbery for $7.5 million. So shit, I'm like, man, I was broke, just got out of jail, really didn't have too much of a skill set, kind of wanted to change, but I really wasn't fully committed. So I entertained the conversation. What ended up happening was he introduced me to ATF. Bro, the whole time it was a reverse thing. ATF was telling me about the warehouse with the drugs and this and that. So I brought one of my homeboys along. We planned out the robbery. Just having this conversation alone, conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery. The same individual that set me up set up 23 of my co-defendants. Everybody got time. The most was 15. I got 10 and a half. Some got 2, some got 5, some got 3, depending on their criminal record, man. And that's how I ended up in the slammer the second time. The first time, like I said, was that carjacking and that robbery.
So you got in trouble twice. First 7 years, then 10 and a half. Any early release or anything like that, or just you did the full time?
When the feds, I got out with 8 months halfway house due to my good behavior.
Okay.
Which, my last 5-6 years, man, I really changed my mindset and was like, bro, I can't keep doing this shit. I seen too many people in there with life that are never going home. People getting out, coming right back. People getting out and dying. So I had to start changing my mindset. And I really was focusing on fitness the whole time, but I realized I used that fitness to free myself and my free time to educate myself. I read every kind of book on fitness, the anatomy, bodybuilding books, really locked in and spent my time wisely so that when I got out this time, I was going to be able to be successful. I knew I wasn't coming back. Coming back wasn't an option. Crime was not an option. Bro, I don't even jaywalk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to live by the book, righteously, what I feel is morally correct. And helping people, my main goal was just helping as many people as possible. And by doing that, it's made my life great.
I'm someone that lives by the book because I've gotten in a little bit of trouble. Nothing crazy like on your end, but I've definitely gotten my fair share of just, traffic tickets, just getting into trouble with the law, being out late, almost getting into situations where, I could have been arrested and I was just like, I can't be doing this stuff. But I always wanted to ask people that have gone to prison, do you think prison is good for people? Do you think it actually changes people's mind? Because I feel like sometimes people get worse, And sometimes people develop a mindset like, yo, this is who I am. They develop an identity with it. But on your second time, you kind of did the opposite. Was it because it was the second time, or do you think just generally it helps people?
Yo, 100%. Prison could kind of make you or could break you. I know a lot of individuals, bro, that now all they know is prison because you get used to prison, And once you get used to it, it becomes easy. The world is kind of difficult out here. But if you can be disciplined and locked in prison, and you apply those same strategies out here in the world, you can be so successful. There is no limit on what you can achieve. Because inside prison, you have many options. You got drugs, you got gambling. You know what I mean? You can stay in trouble in jail. You don't have to read books. You don't have to exercise. You can stay up all night if you want and sleep all damn day. But it's those individuals that decide to go to bed at a certain time, wake up at a certain time, eat at a certain time, work out, and educate themselves that could come out and really make a difference in this world.
When we were talking earlier, you were mentioning something about solitary confinement and how that helped you build routine and how it made you not go crazy.
Bro, I did like probably 5 years throughout my 17 years in prison in solitary confinement for making bad choices, man. And when you're in a cell 23 hours, really 24 hours a day, sometimes when they have the shower in the cell, bro, the only thing what kept me sane was having a routine. At one point, they wouldn't turn the lights off. The lights were on 24 hours a day, but I still found a way to go to sleep at a certain time, wake up before a child came, work out. I used to walk back and forth in my cell for a certain set time. I would read for a certain set time. There was a certain set time that I would throw water on the floor and lay in a puddle of water to cool off because it was so damn hot and there was no air condition. And then there was a time that the officer seen I was quiet, I stayed out the way, and they pulled me out as an orderly, And then when they pulled me out as an orderly, bro, I had to clean blood, shit off the walls, work for 16 hours a day just to have extra food and be able to run around and have access to boxes of laundry detergent so I can work out, dip bars and pull-up bars in the laundry room. So if I'm like, yo, if I can work 16 hours a day for extra food, you mean to tell me I can't come out here and work 10, 12 hours in the gym doing something I love, making good money? I was doing this for extra food, bro.
Mm-hmm. So now it's a blessing.
Now it's a blessing, man.
What about the food and how are the conditions in prison? Like, was the food good? Because I think a lot of people go to jail, go to prison, and it's very different from in different countries, right? Like, I think overseas in certain areas of the world, it's like literally hell, And in some places, especially in the United States, some people say it's not that bad. What was your conditions like?
Look, if you want to keep a good body composition, the food that they're giving you is not going to be sufficient because it's not as high in protein as you need. So you have to hustle or you have to have some kind of way where you can get extra protein. Because, for instance, for breakfast, you're getting frosted flakes. There's no protein in the breakfast. You get, besides the milk, you might get frosted flakes and a cake every morning. So what I would do is I would buy eggs the day before. Whenever people would bring them out the kitchen, I'd buy as many eggs as I could, bring them with me to the chow hall so I would have eggs in the morning. I would buy extra chicken that people would bring out the kitchen, so that's how I would get my extra protein, by buying food that was pretty much smuggled out the kitchen, that, and you also have commissary, but commissary costs money. I was probably eating about $200 in commissary every week, so therefore I had to hustle to make this money. I had a pawn shop. I used to sell deep fried burritos, empanadas, quesadillas, protein ice cream. I used to make protein ice cream. I would take protein powder from commissary, milk, take these plastic garbage bags, iron them with wax paper, fill it up with the ingredients. Then I would take a big bag, fill it with ice and put salt, shake it, and it would freeze, and I would 10 times my money. Every $1, I'd make $10. You know, just from that and the burritos, empanadas. Like the empanadas, I might invest $50 and make $150 and be able to do that in 1 or 2 days. So I was very self-sufficient in prison.
And so,
but without that, you're dead. You're going to look like a stick or you're going to get fat.
In prison, did you have a lot of friends? Did you have a tight circle?
I mean, in prison, you got a lot of snakes around you, man. There was a couple good individuals. One was my last roommate, man. Solid dude. You know, I look out for him, send him cash all the time. He held it down for me. You know, some situation happened, and I could have got in some trouble before I went home. And I'm home because of him today. You know, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But there are some solid individuals in there. I did meet some great people with the same mindset as me. And then you got some people, bro, 40, 50 years old, all they're thinking about is coming out and committing crime. So I started distancing myself from those types of individuals in prison and started hanging around the people who had mindsets like me. You know, people who were successful before they went to jail, just made a mistake. So I was able to learn from these people before I was released about business, you know, about fitness, about life, because I really didn't experience life too much because I went to prison at 20 years old.
Did you plan to get into coaching? Like, so what you do now, I'm going to get into it in a bit. Did you plan that in prison, or was that something that just kind of happened?
You know, it was something that I was doing in prison because when I was in New York, you know, we had a weight pile, and I was really always strong and real knowledgeable about fitness. And you got to be part of a car to have access to the weight pile. So I'm from South Florida, but South Florida didn't really have a car at this particular prison to work out inside.
What do you mean by car? What is car?
It's a group of individuals from your state. So you either got gangs or you got states, you know, and the feds, you grouped up by states. So you got Florida, you got DC, you got New York, you got Georgia, you got the South car, you got different cars. So these individuals, like 4 or 5 people from this group, will have a specific time in this gym where we can use these weights. So we had like the best time from 1 all the way to the gym closed at 3. You know, so pretty much Big Tone from New York, he's like, yo, bro, I want you to work out with us. And pretty much I led the workout crew. And bro, everybody, we were getting strong as fuck. No steroids, just chicken we stole out the kitchen. You know what I mean? Milk, hard work, and dedication, bro. Yo, one of the cats from New York, crazy, benching like 600 pounds, man. Natural, nothing.
That's crazy.
You know, I was in the top 5 of the strongest people in that prison.
Yeah.
You know?
So one thing I wanted to ask too, like I like learning about this because I don't really know a lot about it, to be honest with you. And I don't think a lot of people know a lot about it. You were a Latin King before, okay? I understand that was a gang. Tell me about how you got involved in that and how you started with, like, where was your mindset? And, like, I think a lot of young people turn to crime. It's a quick money grab. But was it small things that you got away with first? Were you successful first, like getting away with, like, selling drugs and stuff, and then it just happened to be something that happened to you? And then how did that affiliation begin?
So the gang affiliation, man, that started when I was young, bro. Like, I'm an only child. I was always too bad to hang around with the kids in the neighborhood, so I used to have to go to the neighborhoods that were bad. Started hanging around the Kings. They accepted me like a brother, you know. But honestly, they were never doing nothing productive. Nobody was really making any money. So I thought, you know, this is kind of cool, but in the long term, I want to make money. And all it did is get me in more trouble, in and out of jail, in and out of jail. And then when it ended up in state prison, you know, the gang activity shot up. You know, I ended up being a leader on the yard, calling hits, man, and ended up in solitary confinement for a long, long time for putting hits out on my own brothers or other individuals, trying to monetize this gang life. And it really didn't work. What happens to gang leaders, bro, is you end up in solitary confinement for the rest of your life. And I realized, I'm like, man, fuck this, bro. You know, they do have some of the things that I learned is like the discipline, the structure, the routine that still helps me to today. So some of it can be used in a positive way, but it's really not used in a positive way, you know, and nothing great really comes out of that, bro. So as far as the gang life, I don't know how I would say it, bro. Kids, man, if y'all need a family, don't look for a gang, bro, because it's not going to help you out.
So this all happened. You got out of prison a second time. Walk me through the process of like what happened after that.
All right, so I got out of state prison, and bro, my first week out, I went to one of the meetings. I seen all the kings. They really weren't doing nothing, bro. Like half the cats were living with their mom. You know, nobody was successful, bro. Nobody had no money. And I'm like, yo, I told them, I said, listen, love y'all, but I'm gonna distance myself. But one of the kings from the meeting called me. He's like, yo, what's up, bro? And I'm like, listen, dog, I'm working out and I'm moving to Port St. Lucie. I'm moving out because my wife was a CO. I bagged the CO before I left state prison.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So my plans were to go live with her in Port St. Lucie and live the quiet life. But it didn't work out like that because I was still 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot out the streets. And having this conversation with this individual, he kind of sold me a dream of some fast money. And I'm thinking, damn, I need this $7 million. We can split this 3 ways. I'll be straight. The whole time he was working for ATF. So how he reeled me in, it was like, yo, bro, let's go to the gym. Because I told him all I'm going to is the gym. So we end up going to the gym, an MMA gym. I fight with some dudes. I roll, he rolls. So I'm like, all right, he's cool.
And this was top team.
American top team, man.
Yeah.
So he brought me there. His name was Low. He had a teardrop on his face. He was Cuban, just like me. So I'm like, all right, we got some things. He's been in prison. He did 10 years. I didn't know he was working for the feds. Mm-hmm. He baked my ass up like some baked chicken, man. So he sold me a dream, man. I went for it, and it ended up costing me 10.5 years.
And then when you got out of that 10.5 years, what happened then? Like, so you got out, you're like, never again.
Never again.
Never gonna fucking do it again.
No,
and
I'm not a good criminal.
And then what was your process then? Did you try to, like, someone try to set you up again? Because, like, I feel like people are, but I just cut them short. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nothing. If it ain't legal, don't tell me nothing about it, bro. That's it. If you ain't talking about coaching or some real estate or some type of legitimate business, we got no conversation. A podcast, cool.
Yeah.
But you trying to commit some crimes, bro, tell somebody else that shit. I'm gone. I'm thinking you got a wire on you.
Yeah.
You know, straight up.
And I don't blame you, because that shit happened.
Yeah, man.
So you got out, you were like, did you meet up with the Latin Kings? Like,
Nah, I can't. That's in my paperwork. I'm no longer allowed to associate with Latin Kings or ex-Latin Kings. None of us in the 23 in the indictment, that's part of our agreement to no longer associate with Latin Kings, period.
And no one's try to...
Therefore, I cannot reach out to nobody. That'd be a violation of my probation. I go back to prison.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
That's that.
And so you got out, and so you were already doing the coaching thing, kind of in fitness. In
prison. I was doing that, discipline, working out, educating myself on fitness. Now, when I got to the halfway house, it was difficult, bro. I'm talking about I was starving. The food was terrible. I kept getting in trouble for sneaking tuna fishes in the halfway house. They wanted me to drive a fish truck or work at Burger Fry. And my main thing was like, bro, I got to find a way to get in the gym. I got to go lift some weights. So I'm like, I'm going to get a job at a gym. They're like, well, you can't get a job at a gym. I said, well, you're going to have to send me back then, you know? They're like, well, okay, go apply at a gym, but you have to have a W-2. So I applied at a gym. I went to UFC Fit. Mike DeLisi, the first one, gave me a job, bro. So I told him my situation. I said, look, man, I've been coaching people for 17 years. It just hasn't been out here. He said, bro, you got the physique. You know what you're talking about. I'm going to give you a shot. Mm-hmm. He hired me on the spot. Mind you, bro, I still had gold teeth. I'm tatted up. And the manager at the time told Mike, he said, man, see if policy will allow him to work because he's got those gold teeth. So Mike told me about it. I'm like, fuck, now I got to get these gold teeth taken out. I might not get this job. He said, Mike told me, don't worry about it. I got you. You got the job. So I started with my gold teeth. You know what I mean? And, bro, my second month, I broke the company record, $37,000 in sales that month. You know, now that manager was on my dick. For the last year and a half, he's been trying to tell me, let's open up a gym next door. So every new coach that would come to that gym, he would say, hey, man, go follow Dom. They would call it shadow me, so I could teach the new coaches to do what I do. Mm-hmm. So that's how I knew I had the power and the ability to mentor other coaches. And I said, damn, if I could do this for myself and I can help these people in here, why can't I mentor other coaches and teach them how to make $10,000 or more a month? It's simple if you just apply these strategies and have the confidence that I have as a coach. You know, everybody in the company of UFC knows me, man. I made more money than damn near the owners of the gyms. You know what I'm saying? As a personal trainer.
Okay.
You know?
And so when you were working there, you work with people, but then
Correct.
you also work with coaches. And now, like, transitioning now, you're coaching coaches, and you do it a little bit differently, mainly because you have a different mindset with it. You focus a lot on in-person coaching. You're a little bit more old school. And what is your philosophy that differentiates you from other coaches? Like, I know a ton of people in the online coaching space. We live in Miami, right? Everybody's in shape. Everyone's trying to be in better shape. Some people are taking stacks, and a lot of people are doing online coaching. What makes you different?
So the difference with me is I'm actually the only one offering a mentorship like this for in-person coaches. It's a dying art because everybody wants to sit on their ass and tell people, eat this and do this, right? It works for some, but there's still a need for that intensity, for somebody to be there, you know, somebody to actually make sure their form is correct and push them beyond what they thought was possible, right? So therefore, there's a definite need for these in-person coaches. Now, the in-person coaches, majority of them are making anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 a month in person. Bro, you cannot live in Miami if you're making less than $10K a month.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? You can't live nowhere if you're making less than $10K a month. So these men are educated in fitness, have the physique, have the knowledge on fitness, but they don't know how to monetize it. That's where I come in and I teach them how to raise their value so they can be paid what they're worth.
And the way that you do this is what I want to get into, right? Because I want everybody that listens to this to hear your sauce. This is a very interesting thing, raising your value, right? And effectively it means making your offer more defined, becoming a better coach. Obviously it has to translate in value. If I'm going to pay you more money, I got to get something for it. So what does that break down to? If I'm going to raise my value, is that personal branding? Is that more intensity with the workouts? Is it maybe like a different style of workout that's like more refined? What is that?
Okay, people don't want a cheap coach. People want the best coach.
Correct.
Therefore, you have to prove that you are the best coach through the way you pay attention to your client, to how you make them feel, right? How you adjust their macros, how you give them a complete plan for the days they don't train in with you, how you hold them accountable, elite accountability, right? Monthly measurements, before and after photos once a month, tracking everything, track your success and prove you're the best. These things that a lot of coaches are not doing. They're not using their stopwatch to monitor the rest periods. All these things are important and that sets you above the regular coaches. And then you need to know how to close the deal on the spot, which is very important because 9 times out of 10, if they walk out that door, they're not going to come back.
Well, a lot of people when it comes to fitness are professional procrastinators. They avoid it, you know?
Right.
So
they need your help.
yeah. So I get a lot of people that come to me for dating advice, right? A lot of people approach our podcast and our platform. I want to get a better partner. I want to get a better girlfriend. I want to find my husband. I want to find my future wife. And probably one of the number one piece of advice I give people, for women especially, 60% of the choosing mechanism for men, 60% of what they choose is looks. So women, I honestly, not even say that they should focus on it more. I think men should just be in shape as much as women are. But women suffer a lot more in the dating market because women, 60% of it is actually more so lifestyle, finances, you know. Fitness is a big part, but some girls will be okay with dating an ugly guy as long as he loves them and he takes care of them and he's a good father and if he's, you know, a good Christian, whatever it may be, whatever her characteristics are. When women choose their partner, they're a lot more specific. Men, they're a little bit more boiled down. They want to be able to like how you look and they want to be able to tolerate you. So I encourage a lot of my clients, the first thing I encourage my female clients is get in the best shape of your life. And it really comes down to a couple things. Losing fat, building muscle, right? Building muscle in the right areas more so for women and losing fat realistically in the belly, the arms, all that stuff. And there's some genetics to it as well, you know, displacements. But what are some like key things? Like this might be basic for you and it might be ABC 1, 2, 3, but the diet, is it important or not? I know the answer to this, but is it important?
100% the diet is important. I think it's 1/3 your rest, 1/3 your diet, and 1/3 your training.
Go into that because a lot of people break it down in different ways. I would love to hear your philosophy on it.
So pretty much to maximize your results, you have to pay attention to all three. You can't just train hard and sleep and not eat properly. You're going to look like shit.
Yeah.
If you eat good, you'll look better. But if you want to increase the synergetic effect, you have to have all three. You combine those, and that's how you make fast results, and your body will completely change.
I say the best drug. People always ask me about drug. I know a lot about. I'm an Indian guy. Our whole family is doctors. I come from a traditional Indian family, so I know a lot about performance enhancing drugs. Right? Not that I'm on them or anything like that, but the number one performance enhancing drug I always say is sleep. Sleep is the number one thing that you could have. So let's get down to like some technical aspects. Okay, let's say I have a girl and she wants to look better and she wants to lose weight. What's her first step? Is it like, what is your first step of the process? Is it tracking, like, what do you eat in a day? Or
if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So you want to know what time you're going to go to sleep. You want to know what time you're going to train. And you also want to know what you're going to eat throughout your day. If you can plan out your meals, you're less likely to fail. If you have your meals ready, you're not going to stop here at Chick-fil-A because you got your meal prep.
Yeah.
Or you already have an agenda. I'm going here to eat this at this time. You want to have a schedule in your mind already what you need to eat. That way you're getting enough protein, enough carbohydrates, and enough fat and calories to hit the body composition that you want.
What are some regular meals that you recommend for people? Because me personally, I'm a big chicken broccoli rice guy. And if you're tired of chicken broccoli rice, I say beef broccoli rice. Like I try to keep it with broccoli, asparagus, or Brussels sprouts, a little bit of rice. I'm Indian. I'm big on rice. But even me, sometimes I got to cut back on the carbs because I love my carbs. They're not always good for you, but I love my carbs. If you're working out a lot, I think they're great. But I try to overindulge because growing up in an Indian household, we had rice with every meal, like rice and this. The problem with the Indian diet is it's not very protein rich. That's why you see a lot of Indian people that are like skinny fat. You know what I mean? They're either very lean and they don't got a lot of muscle. They don't have a lot of power behind them, or they're just like fat. You know. So rice is one thing that I've always been conscious of myself. But what's like a typical meal for you, or like some variations of them?
So last night I had 10 egg whites, some low-fat cheese, some onions and bell peppers, and some cottage cheese, and a scoop of whey protein.
Okay.
That was last night. This morning, I had an egg white omelet and some steak and 2 pieces of wheat bread.
Okay.
You know, but a majority is like with you, rice chicken, rice and turkey, rice and steak, you know, depending on what my goals are. If I want to bulk up, I'll go with more red meat. If I want to lean out, I'll go with more fish and chicken.
So switching gears here a little bit. I'm a coach, let's say. I'm making $5,000 a month. I'm seeing clients and I want to do more. What are the ways that I can attract more clients? I guess it's a big area. I think that's like, the biggest fear for a lot of people, like getting people. Like, how can I get people that want to work with me? And then from there, is it like getting them right away at a higher price, or is it like coaching them up and then increasing the price as it goes?
Well, it's hard to increase the prices once you have the clients.
Because then the client gets annoyed.
Right. So the best thing to do is set the price high in the beginning, right? You have to have the confidence to approach these people. A lot of the potential clients in the gym, they're not going to come up to you because you're 3% body fat. Nobody gives a fuck that you're 3% body fat or you can lift 500 pounds. They're not going to come approach you and ask you to coach them. You have to approach them, introduce yourself, right? Lower their guard because, one, you look intimidated.
Yeah.
I look intimidating.
But you're very social.
So when I introduce myself and I shake their hand, I say, hey, my name's Dominic. I'm a coach here. How long have you been training here?
Yeah.
Cool. What's your goals? I interact with them. I find out what their goals are. Mm-hmm. What are you training today? Cool. Come on. Let me show you some things. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't ask. I lead. I take control. I take them through a session, give them so much value that they would be an idiot not to hire me as a coach.
Mm-hmm. One thing I like about you with your coaching too is you get very involved. You know, we've worked out together before, and you get like right in it. Like you're like pushing the legs together, you're moving the arms, you're in there. Is that something that you teach a lot of your coaches, or is
that's
that like...
you got to be there every time you're training somebody? You're doing a commercial for your brand. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many people that I took through starters in the beginning did not sign up with me, and now they're asking me to coach them, but I'm booked? Mm-hmm. I can't even take them as a client. They should have jumped on the opportunity when they had the chance. But now that they're seeing me constantly train 7 to 10 people a day, back to back, all the time with different clients, and they see the intensity, they see the results, they see how the clients feel like they're gonna die, they're on the floor, they can't breathe.
Yeah.
This is the type of commercial you need to put out constantly because everybody's watching. Mm-hmm. Always act like everybody's watching. You know, you gotta do things it's like having integrity, doing good things. You know, you want to do the right thing even when nobody's watching, but they are watching. So make sure you're doing the right shit.
The biggest thing I tell people if they want to change their life is just imagine there's a camera crew on you 24/7. So when you wake up in the morning, there's a camera crew right there. And, you know, obviously I'm used to being on camera. You're used to being on camera. And would you hit that snooze alarm if there was like 5 people right there like watching? You probably wouldn't do it. But let me ask you this too. What's the worst thing about coaching people? Like, what's the most frustrating thing, the most difficult thing? If I was going to become a coach and you were like trying to not get me to be a coach, what's something you would say like, yo, don't do it because of this?
If you're not passionate about helping people, this is not going to work for you because they can read your body language. You can't fake it. If you really don't genuinely want to help this person, then this ain't for you. Go do something else. But if you really do care about other people's health and you know your shit and you want to help them, they can see this. It sells itself. You just have to convey this information to them, but they can see how passionate you are. They can see in your eyes. They can see in your body language. You know, these are the things that I help coaches that really do want to help people, just they just don't know how to express it. You know, and they're not putting on the commercials like they need to. You know, they're not closing deals because they're not giving away the free value, the free sessions. I've done more free sessions than anybody in the last 16 months, but I'm also booked up. But that's because of it. You know, my first month at Boxer, I started with 0 clients 3 months ago. 0. My first day, I took 10 people through a starter session. I already had 3 clients by the end of the day. You know, I think I already collected maybe $4,000 on the end of the by the end of the day on my first day at work.
That's crazy.
And all I had to do is pay $1,000 a month for rent. And I did the same thing. I didn't take Saturday, Sunday. I was there 7 days a week till my schedule was booked. Now I'm trying to cut my schedule back so I can work more on the mentorship and help other coaches. You know? So it was like no days off, bro. You got to act with urgency. You got to act like your life depends on it because it does. If you sit there with your mouth closed and expect people to come up to you and ask you to be their coach, it's not going to happen, bro.
So one thing about you I've noticed, and obviously we spent some time together, you're very routine. You're structured.
Very structured.
And I love structure. Like, obviously my day is a little bit more fluid. Some days I wake up, I'm right into work. Some days I wake up, I'm a little bit more eased in the morning and I have more time for my morning routine. Like, a lot of people talk about morning routine and stuff like that. Like, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, sometimes you're not afforded the luxury to have the proper morning routine. Sometimes I still get my workout in the morning, but sometimes I don't have time to journal and to do certain things that I want to prep, like write my book. Sometimes I'm right into work. Do you recommend structure for everybody in every profession? And the big thing is, too, I want you to talk about structure at night, because I think this is the fucking problem with society today. It's not like people can get up early in the morning if they get enough sleep at night. I don't even think the problem is waking up early. I think it's getting to bed at night, right?
So what I do, like I did last night, I just turned my phone off. I have a couple videos that went viral. Every second is ding, 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 ding. So I had to turn my phone off. Like around 8 o'clock, I was asleep by like 8:45. But normally I'm asleep around 8:30, 8:40. I'm up at 4 a.m.
Okay.
You know, I like to keep that consistency, you know, because your body gets used to going to sleep at a certain time, waking up at a certain time, training at a certain time. So I think routine is very important no matter what you do. But figure out the 3 main things that you have to get done. At least 3 wins. You know, eat a healthy breakfast, go to the gym, and one other thing that you think is going to be productive. So as long as you have those 3 wins every day is a good day. Okay.
And also asking this, circling back, when clients come to you, right, what are some things that you look for? And let's say I got the money. I want to train with you, right? Are there certain clients that you're going to turn away? Are there certain clients that maybe they don't have as much money? Yeah, hey, you're charging $100. I only got 80, bro. I can only afford 80. What differentiates a good client from a bad client?
So if a client can't afford to pay me the session rate for 2 times a week or 3 times a week, what I would suggest for this client is, I said, look, some help is better than no help. Let's train 1 time a week, and I'm going to give you a routine to follow for the rest of the week so you know exactly what you need to do every time you come in the gym. So that way you have a plan. And I explained to him, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. And I'm also going to hold you accountable for these workouts that you do without me. I want you to hold the same intensity that if you have me yelling in your ear. Most of my clients that I haven't even trained in a year, they still hear me yelling in their ear when they're in the gym. I still motivate them. I motivate people all across the world from just my videos. They're like, I listen to your shit before I go to the gym.
Yeah, your videos are intense.
You know, so there's always some way to help the client. Now, in the beginning, if you're a coach starting out, you don't want to turn any money down.
Yeah.
So until you're booked up, and then you also still, I recommend if you took this client on at $100, you keep this client until they can no longer afford. Don't raise the price and just kick them to the curb, because you committed to them to help them. So see them through to their goals. You know what I mean? You have that relationship, you know, with that individual, and you want to see that person win. And not everybody can afford $1,600 a month, $2,400 a month, $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Some might only be able to afford $600. So what I would do in the beginning is, look, bro, let's just train one time a week. I'm going to give you a meal plan. With the meal plan I'm giving you, you're going to save about $800 a month. So now I'm putting $200 more in your pocket, and you're investing in your
Honestly, if you don't eat out in Miami, you're saving a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Listen, the number one, this is probably like my philosophy as well. It's not even in like, it's more finances for me. Eating out is probably one of the most expensive things that you could do. It's 400 to 500 times more expensive than eating at home. The quality of the food is worse. You're eating buttered up food. Let me tell you something about restaurants, right? If you're eating at a restaurant, the shit tastes good because it's not good for you. Like 99% of the time. Like, they want you to come back. They're not here to say, oh, Dom's got to hit his macros and his micro. Like, you know, we got to make sure that he's doing good. Like, blah, blah, make sure it's like this. Even if you're eating a salad there, it's covered in dressing. And you can, there's healthier options there, but they're not going to advertise it. And that's obviously not the point of the restaurant. So you're going there paying $30 for a salad that you could make at home for $8. You know what I mean? That's the first part. The second part is, it's a big time commitment. That's the biggest part. I hate restaurants for this, okay?
You got to wait. Yeah, I hate that shit.
So people think that I'm like a big, like, I love going out eating. People always think that I live in Miami and I'm out here talking to women, going out to eat, this, that, and third. And it couldn't be farther from the truth. I do it for business. Obviously, I meet people in what I do at restaurants and stuff like that. But I try to minimize it as much as possible to coffee. And I like to do that because it's controlled on time. When you're at a restaurant, you are spending an hour minimum. You're sitting there. They're getting you water. That's 10 minutes right there. Hey, are you ready to order? Okay, then they get your order. It may come out great. It may come out bad. Usually comes out good, but that takes another 20 minutes. Then you're eating. Then you got to wait for your bill. It's an hour that goes by, and it's a lot of time investment. So not only are you investing poorly into your health, then you're investing poorly into your time. And then the third thing is, more than anything, restaurants, there can be a lot of reputation that you create. And this is the indirect cost of restaurants. If you're going out all the time, it could be a good thing. But if you're constantly frequenting restaurants, it can become problematic for you. It could mean that people look at you like when I see people eating out all the time, I don't look at them as like, oh man, you live in that life. I look at it as, man, you're spending your time very poorly. You're investing a lot of time here. And financially, it's just a massive hit. 400 to 500%, you know, you're getting anything at a restaurant, like it's a lot of money. So restaurants are probably the biggest killer, I would say, for just lifestyle and health. That's probably the biggest thing. Do you recommend meal prepping?
100%. I recommend meal prepping. You save time and money. Like you just said, you would have to sit at a restaurant, kill an hour of your day.
Yeah.
I eat fast. Probably that comes from being in prison.
I eat fast
but
too.
I eat a meal, bro, in less than 5 minutes.
People always talk shit about me. I eat real quick. Go ahead though.
They used to always say like, nobody's gonna take your food from you, but I just eat really quick because one, it helps me with training because sometimes I only have 5 minutes in between sessions.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like to keep my sessions at 50 minutes, but sometimes they go over. So technically I'm supposed to have 10 minutes, but sometimes it's 2. Mm-hmm. But I gotta eat. So I'll eat real quick. You know, I'll eat my chicken, my rice. I'll eat that shit cold, hot. Sometimes I don't have time to heat it up. I still eat it. You know, but I'm getting the food in my body to give me the fuel that I need to perform well.
There's a lot of people that talk about, I love talking about diet. I love talking about mindset. A lot of people talk about, oh, I love to eat. I'm a foodie. I hate that shit. Personally, that's just me. I like food. I like trying new things. I like trying new experiences. But personally, when I eat out too much or I go out, like I like my chicken broccoli rice, my beef broccoli rice, because that's like my home. That's my center. And I actually like how it tastes. I put a little Cholula on it. You know what I mean? It tastes good. But I'm not somebody that lives to eat. Like I just eat to live. So someone that's a big foodie, right? How do you break that mindset? I love eating ice cream. I love eating. Like, do you taper them off? Or is it like, yo, we're fucking done? What's your mindset with that?
I usually like to try to cut them cold turkey, you know, but you could taper them off. But me personally, I'm like, look, bro, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
you're gonna die if you keep eating like this. So we gotta stop. Let's go 30 days. Because once you go 30 days without sugar, bro, you're good.
Yeah.
You know, so one of the tips that I give my clients is, it kind of sounds funny, but it works. So after you're done eating at night, brush your teeth, use a minty mouthwash. You're less likely to have some sweets, because if you would normally have ice cream or cake and you have a minty taste from that toothpaste and that mouthwash, you're not going to eat it because you're not going to enjoy it. So now you just beat one night. Now it's just one day at a time. Let's just worry about today. Let's get through today, and then we'll worry about tomorrow. You know, so today we're going to eat healthy breakfast, healthy lunch. We're going to have all our meals planned. We're not going to include any sugars or any sodas. Day one, it's a win. It's a victory. Check. Next day, we do it again. Now, after 30 days, you're not feeding no more. Mm-hmm. You're not feeding for sugar.
Sodas are a big killer. Like, I think, you know, one time my cousin, who's a dentist, told me that sodas will kill your teeth. I stopped drinking soda when I was a young kid. I don't know why that stuck with me so much, but the only time I've ever had soda was with an alcoholic beverage. Another thing about restaurants, let me tell you this, circling back. Alcohol like the not only is it terrible for your health, we all know alcohol is bad, but like for your pockets, alcohol is the worst. Especially living in Miami, one drink, $20 plus tip. Like, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It just goes out the window. I think sodas are bad. I think alcohol is bad. What are some other foods that you see, or some consumables that you see that are like really bad that would
definitely kill? Fast food's terrible. But back to, let me drop some free game for the coaches out there, right? So how you can find the money that your clients have if they're in a major city: one, if they eat out; two, if they drink alcohol. If they do these two things,
you can save money.
They have the money to pay for a trainer. They're just putting their money in the wrong places.
Yep.
You just got to figure this out during this free session: how many times they drink, how many times they eat out a week. You do the math. You break down the numbers for them. You're like, look, bro, you're spending $2,000 a month. Mm-hmm. You have the money.
Yeah.
Let's invest it in yourself. How do you think you're going to feel in 90 days?
So you ask these questions, like, walk me through like an intake process. Like, I'm sitting down with you for the first time.
Well, I like to do it while we're training. Oh. So during your rest period, your 2-minute rest period. So what'd you eat today? Cool. Do you go out to eat a lot?
Yeah.
Find out what restaurants. Okay, cool. So now I'm storing all this information here. So when I go to close a deal, I already know they go to a restaurant 3 times a week. I know they order DoorDash. I know they like to drink on Fridays or have a drink every night. Mm-hmm. So with all this information, I'm already doing the numbers in my head. I'm like, okay, they got $1,500 that they're wasting.
Yep.
They have $2,400 they're wasting. You know, if they invest this in their health, I can change their life, add years to their life.
And so when you do your plans, when you coach clients, is it pretty standard or is it very custom? Like, some people are $1,500. Like, I know you say that you might do one session with one person who can't really afford it, but standard client, he has the money. Does it vary based off their goals?
Well, typically I start out at $200 per session now.
Okay.
You know, $200 per session.
And how long is the session?
And now it's 50 minutes. And what I do now is I'm working on pairing them up, and then I'll give them a small discount to like $175. That way I'm able to make $350 per the 50 minutes.
And you're working with 2 people, and it's cheaper for them.
Yeah.
It's a win for them.
Correct.
Okay. And for you, what kind of workouts you usually like to take people through? Because I know some people like calisthenics. Yeah. Some people like a lot of weights. Or is there like
I'm a firm believer in weights, and I like compound lifts. All the old school stuff that all the bodybuilders did to put on mass back in the days, you know, those, they worked. No need to reinvent the wheel, doing all this banded bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, fine, it might get you a pump, this and that, but it's not going to build dense muscle. The more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns. So if you add 10 pounds of muscle, your body is going to burn about 700 calories more per day not doing nothing. Mm-hmm. So my main goal is to help you build muscle, put you on a small calorie deficit, increase your protein intake, and change your body composition.
Okay.
You know, I don't want skinny, fat clients. I want clients healthy, strong, and confident.
When you work with coaches, what's the biggest mental block that you see with them when it comes to scaling their business?
They're lazy. They're lazy, and I got to push them. That's where I come in and hold them accountable.
And that's just being in person.
Like every day, I got my guy who doubles his income with me within 2 weeks. I got him in the gym today, 7 days a week. I said, till we get you to $10,000, you're in that gym every single day. Mm-hmm. Every day. How many no's did you get? Okay, cool. You got one deal, great. Go get another one. Keep that momentum going.
So when you're working with these lazy people, see, this is like a huge area that I like to hear about, right? There's laziness in every aspect of life, whether it's fitness, whether it's work. How do you untrain laziness?
By pushing them, letting them see that it's possible. They have to have that vision. They have to see it before they can achieve it. You know, put that goal right there so it's attainable, and push them and show them that they can do it if they get active, reactive, proactive, instead of just sitting there and waiting for it to come to them. You know, because if you don't get up and get after it, bro, you're going to stay stuck on that little hamster wheel. You know, so you want to get out of there. You want to run. You want to sprint. You want to get money fast. You want to do it the right way. And that's what I show them. And I'm like, look, bro, look what I'm doing. I started with nothing. I didn't get this by just working out and expecting people to come to me. No, I interacted with people. I did free sessions. I worked 60, 70 hours a week, you know, in the gym. And then after that, I worked on my brand. Mind you, content. So like, bro, we got 24 hours in a day, 16 hours I'm working.
Yeah.
You know, it's either 10 hours in the gym or 8 hours in the gym, and the rest of the day it's working. It's working. It's nonstop work. You know, I haven't watched a movie since I've been home in 16 months. I mean, like, cool if you want to go on date night, watch a movie, whatever. Me, I haven't done it.
Why do you like? I'm a big believer. Like, I don't like days off personally. Like, I think I don't even mean to sound harsh, but like I think days off are for people that are very lazy. I think that when you're under the age of 40 and like you're young, theoretically, you should be always working, always grinding, always doing as much as possible. Do you believe in days off, or like is there like a balance that you put?
Sunday, I would rest a little bit more, maybe sleep in an extra hour. Instead of get up at 4, I'll get up at around 5. You know, that's my little extra reboot. And
which is still crazy. That's that's still 5 a.m. Most people can't wake up at 6 a.m.
You know, so it's like we need work. Work really doesn't need us. In order for us to be happy, we have to have something to do, some type of purpose. So working gives us purpose, and then helping people is a blessing in itself. Like, to be able to transform somebody's life, not only with fitness now, helping people get healthier, live longer, feel better. Now I can help people make more money. So what do people want in life? They want health, they want wealth, and they want a place to, you know, live. So now I'm able to help them with 2 of those things.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that people can become very successful without bad things happening to them? Because my childhood was rough. It wasn't the best. Losing my father, a lot of things happened to me. I'm not out victiming anybody. I think everybody has their own difficulty. But what I've noticed is when you live a very privileged life, sometimes it actually comes as a disadvantage.
100%.
Because it shelters you from galvanizing that mindset. Like, you get everything in life, like you cry and things are given to you. When you hit the real world, shit's hard.
Yeah.
But what is your philosophy on that?
I mean, if you always had everything, then it's hard to appreciate everything. So life is ups and downs. Doesn't matter how, like, everybody's always has hard times. So those hard times are good. Just know that those too shall pass. Just like the good times, right? A wise dude is going to learn from other people's mistakes. A lot of times we learn from our own mistakes. You know, that's like an average person. I've learned from a lot of my own mistakes, and now I'm learning from other people's mistakes. But somebody like you can see an individual like me who did 17 years in prison, like, shit, I don't want to do that. So you don't never commit a crime. Mm-hmm. That's a good decision. You know, our life, our future is because of our decisions. We can make good decisions, bad decisions, you know, so we just got to make more good decisions, bro. We're always sometimes we're going to fuck up, but we have to learn from that. And it's back to what you were talking about as people who came from nothing. I think we're hungrier.
Yeah. Because
we see all the things that we want, and that hunger, that's that fuel, that fire that drives us. Because if you had everything, it's like, who cares if I have a boat? My father has a boat. He has a mansion. You know, I can get any woman I want. But if you have nothing and you have to work from it and build it from the ground up, you can appreciate everything. Like, I appreciate just having the sunlight, fresh air, be able to walk downtown Miami, have money in my pocket, have a nice truck, you know, just little things that I appreciate, bro, because literally I had to catch the bus to work when I first came home. You know what I mean? Or I was in the cell 24 hours a day doing burpees in the heat. Yeah. But now I have a beautiful gym where I have weights. I used to have to do pull-ups from a light off of a torn sheet, roll up magazines to do dips off of a bunk. But you mean to tell me you got individuals out here in the world and just walk by a gym and don't even go in it? Do you know what I had to go through just to be able to work out? And you people just don't go to a gym? You don't eat healthy?
It's easier than ever to be healthy and in shape nowadays because there's gyms everywhere, and the access that we have to like clean food, theoretically, like obviously there's things that are not good, but there's a lot of clean food out there. You can find that. One thing I say to people a lot of times, like even when my dating clients, like they go through a bad breakup, they date somebody that isn't good for them. Sometimes I tell them like, maybe you have to go through another one. Maybe you have to go through a little bit more trauma. When people are not motivated to get in shape, right? Like what is your philosophy towards them? Do you just hard motivate them? Or, cause like my main thing is this, right? This might be tricky to answer. I feel like sometimes when they stop seeing you and they stop talking to you, they might fall off. They may relapse into their bad habits, and that happens a lot sometimes to my clients as well. And so there's a period of stabilization where I encourage them, I'm like, yo, you're not done yet, okay? You're still at high risk of going back and doing X, Y, Z. Even though you might be successfully changing your mindset now, you're out of a breakup, you're hurting your head, and you don't want to be with toxicity, the moment that you start to feel a little bit better, you're going to go back to what you're doing. So is there a period and process that you do with clients that, like, if they want to, like, let's say a client wants to stop seeing you, what's a philosophy there? Is there, like, it's probably never something that you really do, right? But at some point you're getting busy now where you're coaching people and you have to, like, look at your book and say, I got this coaching client for XYZ amount of money, which is significantly more than coaching my own clients. How do you kind of deal with that?
Well, what I would do is I would put them with another coach that I feel can handle them.
That graduated from your program.
Right. A coach that's graduated from my program, I would put them so they can continue to have somebody hold them accountable and have some intensity.
And have indirect access to you.
Correct.
In a way. You know,
like that's how I would like to do it. I would like to teach people that, like, I like to teach them how to fish, not just give them a fish. So they need to learn how to push themselves with the same intensity that I coach them. So I like to work with individuals for at least 90 days so they can have these habits that they can live with forever. So now, they're paying me $3,000 a month, but they don't have to pay me $3,000 a month for life. 6 months. What you learn with me, you have this for a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, now you can teach your kids this.
The skills are established.
You know what I mean? So that's the goal. Now, every now and then you might need an accountability check-in. If you fall back off, you hit me up. I'll help you back out, you know?
What about your support system? Because you're very, like, I know, like, I see it on your social media, like, you're there from the morning till the end of the night. What, do you have, like, friends? Like, I guess it's more personal. This is stuff that most people probably don't know about you, probably don't see on social media. What is your support system?
I do have a few friends. We don't speak all the time, except for one friend. Every morning he sends me a positive quote, and I tell him good morning. We chat real quick. And besides that, I do have friends, but we don't speak very often because we're busy being productive in our own lives. You know, just because you know this is your homeboy and this is your ride, this is your dog, you don't have to speak to him every day.
I agree.
I cannot see him for 4 or 5 months and still know if my brother needs me, I'm there.
You pick up the conversation.
If he needs me, I'm there, you know? So I don't have to speak to you every day to know we're solid. You know, those people get like too clingy and emotional, all that shit. They start calling, you didn't text me. But I don't got time for that shit. You start giving me a headache, I cut your ass off. You know what I'm saying? I got one woman that supports me right now. You know what I'm saying? She got my back to the fullest. We were friends for about a year before, you know, it ever progressed. And she supports everything I do, you know. Bro, it's just great. It's great to have a good person behind you. You know, I'm not out here chasing a bunch of women. She knew this because she was my friend. I'm not chasing ass. I'm chasing cash. You know, I don't want liabilities. I want assets.
How do you control the temptation and lust? Because I think that's a big, big, big area. I think for men, that's where 80% of men fail.
Bro, it's discipline, man. Like, bro, you're going to go ahead and sleep with this girl, catch an STD, you know, and then, you know, when you sleep with her, you're sleeping with all the people she slept with. And you guys, it's kind of like an intimate thing. I guess I'm kind of old school on that shit.
It's an energy thing.
An energy thing. So you got to have good energy and have good intentions behind this. Not just a quick fuck because you got a big ass and BBL and some titties. That don't mean nothing to me. What you got up here? You know? You got a mind? Can you think? Do you really care about my best interests?
But some guys, see.
They just, I get it. You look at the eye candy. You know what I'm saying?
I go to war with this every day. because I'm a guy, I get it. I'm a younger guy too. Like I'm 30. That's maybe old to some people, but here in Miami, that's a kid. Like you're a kid. You know what I mean? Like people always guess, oh, you're 35. What? You under 35? But the big thing is like people think that I live here. They're like, oh, you've got like I have a lot of nice things now. You have a lot of nice things now. You got the physique now. People will be like, yo, if I had what you had, bro, I will be out every fucking night doing X, Y, and Z. How do you control yourself from doing that?
Okay, because if I did that, this would be gone. This physique would be gone. My money would be gone. These girls want money, expensive dinners, clothes, this, that, and my time, which my time is the most valuable. I don't have time to court these women. I got to focus on my goals, man. You know what I mean? So me texting back and forth with a girl that's giving me a headache and I got to take her out on a yacht because she don't even want to go on a damn jet ski. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I don't got time for that. I got other shit to focus on. So it's going to take me away from my goals. If I went out, my routine would be off. My physique would deteriorate. My health would deteriorate. My mental health would deteriorate. I wouldn't have fitness like I do. What makes me feel good is exercising, eating healthy, and building my future and working towards my goals. Doing other things is just distraction. When I first came home, I was locked in. I wasn't, like I didn't have time for that.
But a lot of guys, I'll tell you, and I want to hear your mindset on this because I love hearing different perspectives on it, right? Sometimes you might say something that might hit for somebody. Sometimes I might say something that might hit for somebody. But a lot of guys make the money to get the women. That's it. That's all they do it for. Like, they drive the Rolls Royce, they drive the truck just to get the girl. Like, how do you... I tell guys, like, don't focus on women at all unless you got a little bit of money. Like, if you got a little bit of money, maybe once a week, maybe a couple times a week, you can go indulge. I don't want to, like, hold people back, but... It just
so you go ahead and you strive to get all these things to get the women, but does the woman really want you, or does she want the things that you have?
She wants the things that you have.
So if she wants the things that I have, then I really don't want this woman. I want a woman that wants me for the individual that I am, the person that she sees behind, you know what I'm saying, the jewelry, the cars, the one who's a go-getter, you know what I mean, who's a positive person, who's helping people. Who tells me I'm amazing for the little things that I do, not because I have a yacht or a boat. All that's coming. Helicopters coming, yachts coming, all that. But guess who's going to be around me? The same people that was with me when I didn't have nothing.
Do you think that fitness makes your dating life better? Very easy question, but
yeah, because if you look good, you feel better. Your confidence is better. What a woman really likes is the confidence. She wants a man that's confident. So when you walk with your shoulders up, your chest up, she sees that confidence. She wants that. You don't even have to have a lot of money. You just have that good physique and that confidence, and she's going to be intrigued, Now, the money is a plus because, yeah, we all want nice things. She wants nice things, and it's good to treat your woman if you can, But if you see that she's not willing to pick up the bill or she's not willing to do for you like you do for her, homie, you a sucker.
There's a lot of guys out here.
The suckers, a lot of suckers out here.
Yes, a lot of rich guys that just kind of pay their way to get access. And they get access, but at what cost? You know what I mean? So if you were to advise somebody to, go about dating in your philosophy, what would you recommend? Like, I'm a young guy. I want to meet my wife, right? I'm in decent shape. Okay, I'm in the fitness program, okay? Now what's my mindset? Like, how would I go about dates? How would I go about this? Because you really, like, have a very structured life, right? Yeah. And so if this girl was not in your life, I guess, like, how would you go about doing it? Would you just attract it organically?
I would attract it organically. I would focus on my success, my routine, and I would not let nobody deviate me from what I got going on. I would continue to work out, continue to eat healthy, continue to make money. What came and could fall into my structured routine, then it's a possibility we can talk. And I would do that by just attracting it when it came to me. Or if I seen something in a woman, I would approach her. You know what I mean? If I thought that, she's got something going on or something I like besides just physique.
Do you think a gym is a good place to approach women?
I mean, you could approach a woman anywhere. You could approach a woman at a Starbucks, coffee on the street. It really doesn't matter. It's just the confidence and what you say to her,
Yeah, I love that. See, the thing I get a lot from people, like, so someone might hear you say this stuff, right? And they may be like, well, that's easy for you to say, Dom, because you have a personal brand. You got a shitload of followers all over on every social media, pretty much, damn near. You've got a shitload of people DMing you every day. You've got a lot of people that look up to you. You've got the physique. What do you say? Because the biggest thing I find out, here's the way I coach and why I focus so much on relationships, right? But actually, the funny thing is, it's not even on relationships as much. The end result is a relationship. I focus on mentality. You got to have the right mentality. Second is physicality. Got to be in shape, okay? I think the physicality and mentality are both the same thing. You can have a very strong physique, You might have a decent mentality, but you're never going to have a decent mentality without the physique. It's never going to happen, right? A strong body creates a strong mind. Third is finances, right? You got to have financially stable. You don't got to be making $1 million, but you have to be able to be financially stable. Fourth is family. Does not have to be blood, but you got to have people that you have close that, like, even if me and you beef, we say, fuck you, we still see each other tomorrow, and we're like, yo, let's do this. Like, we're not separating, right? Fifth is social circle. Sixth is hobbies. Then it's relationships. So I coach these 6 areas. I focus a lot on these 6 areas, and I focus a lot on the physicality. I focus a lot on the finances. I focus a lot on the relationships, because when you have good, opportunistic lifestyle, relationships come very easy, But for someone that's starting off new, that wants to create their dream lifestyle, right? And they want to, their whole purpose, a lot of people get in shape to look good while they have sex. That's fundamentally it. It's not because they want better organ health or they're diabetic and they want this. It's a very rare circumstance a lot of times. Like, it's maybe 10%, 5% of people. But what I find out when people come to me and they want to, like, better their life, like, they really want to get in shape because they want more guys to approach them. They want more girls to approach them. That's it. They don't want to be on a beach and look like a loser. Here in South Florida, we find ourselves on yachts. We find ourselves outside. There's an occasion to take your shirt off here and there. So people are more inclined to it. But for people starting off with dating, you mentioned someone that takes the bill, someone that does all this stuff. What's your philosophy on what you look for in a woman? What's your philosophy on what a man should be?
Well, as far as for a man and to attract women, what I think they should do before they go and chase women, they got to build the person that they want to be first. You got to build that $1 million person before you get that $1 million. You got to build that man that deserves this beautiful woman. You got to be the man that deserves everything that you want coming. And how do you do that? Is by taking care of yourself, building your confidence up, eating properly, and just developing the skill sets of a good man. And then you're going to attract everything that you want. Like, I can go anywhere in the world, bro, and without social media, nowhere, and I'm that $1 million man. I don't have the $1 million, but somebody's gonna notice, be like, yeah, this dude's a little different because of the way I carry myself. And everybody has the ability to do that if they raise their frequency through exercise, eating right, building their confidence, reading the right books, and just working on bettering themselves. Instead of just trying to chase everything, things will start coming to you when you need them. You are where you are because you're meant to be there right now. Everything is a learning phase. So continue learning, and just, there's levels. Continue elevating yourself, and you'll get that good woman. You'll get the money that you want. You'll get the car that you want. But you have to work towards it day by day. Stack those wins. Eat your breakfast. Eat a healthy breakfast. Go to the gym. Go to bed on time. Stay focused. Figure out what you want, and then think, okay, how can I build these characteristics of a person that deserves this? Once you deserve it, God's going to give it to you.
What's the hardest thing that you find about coaching people? What's the most difficult part about coaching people? Has there been a client that you had a lot of trouble with? Like a personal story, like this dude, I was trying to get him here, but he just didn't want to do it, or...
Bro, I work with him, and I kind of love the ones that give me the most headaches.
You like it
because it's getting them to overcome it. Like, in the beginning, I can't do it. I'm too tall. My legs are too long. I had a soccer player. He was telling me his legs were strong. His legs were weak as fuck before we started doing legs. He couldn't squat. He looked like kind of like Gandhi. What was it? Gandhi, the little Gumby? Gumby, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was so uncoordinated. I taught this man how to squat, how to deadlift. He told me it was impossible. He gave me every excuse in the world. 3 months later, bro, this guy was squatting, deadlifts, and I was like, look, motherfucker, you told me you couldn't do this.
Right.
So I kind of love the challenge. So sometimes it is challenging when they're so damn stubborn.
They don't have belief in themselves.
They don't have belief in themselves. But I know with time and practice, we can fix this problem. Just like anything in life, we can always fix things. You know, we can't really change what happened in the past, but we could change what's going to happen. We could change the ending.
You know? Makes sense. With wrapping up here, I want to get a few more gems from you when it comes to the coaching business, right? When it comes to coaching coaches, right? And what are the biggest problems that you see with people that are in the coaching business right now?
Bro, they're not working enough. They're too damn quiet. You have to have high energy all day. I don't care if you got to drink 10 shots of espresso throughout the day. You got to have high energy, bro. Make sure you're well rested. You can't be thinking you're going to get off work, smoke a joint, and go to sleep at 12 o'clock, wake up at 5 in the morning, and have energy. It's not going to happen. You have to treat your body the same way you tell your clients to treat their body. That way you have the energy to pay attention to them when they're in the gym. You have to be used to getting told no, but don't worry about the no's, because every no, you're one person closer to that yes. And that big yes might be that $3,400 a month, $2,400 a month. So every time I get told no, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm one step closer, baby. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they need to realize. Not get told no, put their head down, oh fuck, nobody wants to train with me, da 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 da. Tattoo Fitness got all the clients. No, motherfucker, you could do it too. I just get told more no than you. I get told no all the time, but I don't care. Just like approaching women. Like you could get told no a million damn times, but guess what? She probably ain't for you. The right one's gonna say yes.
A lot of times too, getting a good night's sleep will alleviate. Like a lot of guys get rejected and they hold on to that through the day.
Yeah.
But just when you go to sleep and you wake up, when you sleep
new
on
day,
it,
bro, new day.
Yeah, you're not worried about it anymore. And living in Miami, like I have a lot of clients here in Miami, which is surprising. You know, it's very interesting. A lot of coaching clients here in Miami. And they talk about how difficult dating is. Girls and guys. Guys more than anything are like, man, like they fall in love every day. Being in Miami, you see beautiful women every fucking where you look. There's beautiful women. And they fall in love. And I tell them, hey, like, go to sleep. That girl said no to you. She didn't give you her number, whatever it may be. Go to sleep, bro. I promise you it won't hurt as much in the morning. So it chills out a little bit. So basically you're telling your client, you're loud on social media. You put a lot of content out. Just be more aggressive, be more confident, and obviously be willing to get told no more, okay?
Yeah. Bro, like, I'm human just like y'all, bro. Like, every day might not be the best day. Like, I might be like, fuck, man. Because I'm, like, I hit my goals as far as in-person clients. Now I'm working on the next thing. But sometimes it's frustrating and struggling. I'm like, fuck, I'm trying so hard. It just ain't working yet. So I do everything in my power and know that I did everything I can. I go to sleep, I wake up refreshed, and I do it again.
What's something that you're struggling with right now?
Right now, bro, what I'm struggling with is I'm trying to hire the right team to help me out with this mentorship because I can't do it alone. Yeah. So right now, it's funny because I just took on board 2 individuals to help me with the setting. One person is actually about to be a criminal attorney. A criminal defense attorney. He just graduated law school. He reached out to me on Instagram because I put an ad out and he wants to work for me. And I said, funny, I wish I knew you 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we went into my story. I told him, and then my girl was in the background. She's laughing. She's like, that's crazy. You're going to have a criminal attorney working for you. Yeah. And I'm like, working with you. He's part of the team, so it's not necessarily an employee. You're part of the team, part of the family, the money team. You come on with Tattoo Fitness. And then the first person that reached out to me for a podcast, I spoke to him this morning. He's going to also be a setter and a closer for me. So I'm trying to build this team to help me.
It's hard to do. It's very difficult. And I'll tell you something. I'll give you some advice right here. If you're a coach or anybody that wants to be a coach, right, you got to build the team up yourself. There's a lot of done-for-you programs that are out there. And from my experience, from my personal experience, they're not very good, right? Because they're going to sell you a package. They're going to sell you a high-ticket offer just internally. And they may be good, but they're not going to be, like, cultivated by you. And the hardest part about building a coaching brand is that your best people that are going to work with you are people that you've worked with as a coach, you know? Like people that have seen your program, that have been through your program, that have been with you individually. So I've done over 1,000 clients one-on-one coaching them over the phone, or Zoom calls in their life. They bring me a problem and I work with them. Those clients now, a few of them work with me, like they're part of my team, you know? Exactly. And it's very interesting. And it just takes a lot of reps. And I think a lot of people try to like, okay, I want to coach people on how to drink more water every day, whatever it may be, right? You want to find, there's a lot of people that sell these offers, and I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not here to put anybody down, but sometimes they're just not good. A lot of them are not good. And I think I struggle with the same problem as well, because everybody wants to jump onto your program when you're making a lot of money. Even though I have revenue in my coaching program as well, people see that and they like to do it. But at the same time, there's nothing better than working with people that you've kind of built up from the ground up, like DMs, setters, onboarding people for the first thing. Like, there's a process to it. So that's a big thing that you're struggling. What are some goals that you have?
I want 200 people in my mentorship by the end of the year.
Okay.
That's what I want. I want to help 200 men anywhere in the world make more than 10K a month. That's my goal. I want to help these guys out who's just come out of prison, or coaches who've been coaching for a while and not making enough. If I can help 200 of them out by the end of the year, then I'd hit my goal. That's the goal that I have.
And we'll wrap up here. If you had to, if I deleted all your social media, all your stuff's gone, and you had to post one piece of content for 60 seconds that gives all of your value, that gives as much value as possible, like one piece of advice, and that's your one piece of content that people see you from, right? That your hardest piece of content, what would you say?
Well, I got to think about this. This is the most important piece of content right here. And then they wouldn't be able to reach out to me more on social media. Man, I would just give them value, like, as far as to tell them whatever it is you want to do, you just have to work hard for it. Anything is possible with hard work, dedication, and believing in yourself. There's nothing that can stop you. Your own worst enemy is your own fucking mind. Get out of your head and be fucking successful. See me at the top. Something simple like that, bro.
Fire. I appreciate your time. Thank you for making time today. I know that you have a very busy schedule, and that, you being here, it takes out of your work, it takes out of your time, but means a lot to me. Everybody, Tattoo Fitness, how can they find you? How can I connect with you? How can I buy your program? How can I get involved with you if I'm a regular person? How do I connect with you?
You can find me on YouTube. It's Tattoo Fitness 954, or you can also find me on Instagram, Tattoo Fitness 954.
And how are they going to get access to your programs? Is there a link in bio? Is there a website?
Just send me a DM with 10K, and I'll get back to you, or one of my representatives will get back to you. But more than likely, it'll be me personally reaching back out to you.
Fire. We're going to link all his socials down below. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this information and for listening in. Until next time, peace out.